Welcome and thank you so much everyone again for spending the afternoon with us and welcome to Indonesia is not all about batik. And today's topic is on finding love in Iban Textiles with Lewa Pardomuan. So for those who have not seen me before, I'm Tony from An Art Gallery, which is a play on the word an art gallery. And I am based in Singapore, in which we try to promote Indonesian textile art through different perspectives. And in today's session is actually a continuation of our talk way back in January that I want to introduce that Indonesia is not all about batik. So we did a trip through different parts of Indonesia and Lewa was showing all the different textiles. And today we'll be talking specifically on the Iban Textiles from the Indonesian West Kalimantan side. Because partly after the talk, I had a discussion with some friends and we're like thinking, some of the stories are a lot on like the Iban in Sarawak in Malaysia. And so I was like approaching Lewa and it was like, oh, okay, this is like an interesting topic. And he was like warning me, it is quite a huge topic. And hence this what I will be learning together with you all today. And the presentation will be easy and conversational. So if you have any questions, feel free to write it in the chat box, and then I will just direct it to Lewa whenever they are suitable. And then at the end of the presentation, there will be a Q&A, which I will invite you to ask your questions and or get involved in the discussion as well. And a couple of reminder during the presentation, do be reminded to put your microphone settings on mute. And also a reminder that this session will be recorded and may be used for future publicity purposes. If you do not wish to be photographed or shown, do let us know by the end of the session. And before I hand over the screen to Lewa, I just would like to introduce a little bit about Lewa. So Lewa, like myself, is an Indonesian who is based in Singapore. And Lewa is a TV producer who loves to travel, collects Indonesian textiles and other artifacts. And since 1998, Lewa has collected more than 300 textiles from various cultures and islands in Indonesia and is a passionate advocate of Indonesia is not all about batik. And also to note, Lewa spends too much time on Facebook and hates lousy Indonesian restaurants in Singapore. We will discuss a little bit more on that later, maybe. Yeah, so Lewa, the screen is yours.
Okay. Thanks so much, Tony. Terima kasih, and thanks to you all who have joined the talk, and for those who have come back from who also joined my talk last time on Indonesian textile. So basically, a bit of warning, since Tony also mentioned warning. I'm going to show you this first, yeah.
Sorry, Lewa, you are muted.
Okay, can you see? Yeah, yes. Okay, please take a look at that. I posted on Facebook last time. Take a look just to read it carefully, if you can. A bit cynical. I'm a journalist. I'm quite cynical, so I hope you don't mind. Okay. Yeah, that's a bit of warning. And since the topic is quite complicated and difficult also, I mean, even for me who have been collecting textile for more than 20 years, but don't worry about that. We try to have fun here. In Indonesian, we say relax aja. So just relax and try to enjoy it. So let me show you a map of Indonesia so we'll know what we're going to talk about here. This is one of my favorite maps from the 60s. You can see the archipelago, a cultural map of Indonesia. Can you see that, Tony?
Yes.
Okay, good. So you get those chain of islands, 17,000 islands, 500 different ethnic groups. And you see that Timor was still part of Portugal back then, and it was invaded later by Indonesia, and in 1999 it gained independence. But if you look at Kalimantan, see, can you find Kalimantan there? Yeah, it's divided into two parts, Sarawak and Kalimantan. Indonesians call the whole island Kalimantan, but internationally it's called Sarawak. And so we're going to zoom in, because in Kalimantan we're going to talk about Iban Textiles and its beauty. So let me zoom in. Hold on here. Just bear with me. Okay, now Kalimantan, Sarawak, Kalimantan. You see that the border was drawn by Dutch and British officials in the 19th century, separating the two territories. So Dutch administered Dutch Borneo, and then British Borneo. After Indonesia gained independence, the Indonesian territory is called Kalimantan. So the Iban people live in the western part of the country, of the island. Do you see Kapuas there? It's Indonesia's longest river, Kapuas. And across the border, Kuching is somewhere there, which is the capital of Sarawak. So we're talking about Iban. It's a tribe. Now majority now live in Sarawak, Malaysian state, but they came from West Kalimantan. They came from West Kalimantan. And why is it important to remember that? Because during my research, or my journey to collect Indonesian textile, Iban textiles from Kalimantan were or still very much neglected. We don't know, we'll find out later why. And what is also interesting is that in Kalimantan, there are Ibanic groups, the subgroups, which do not live in Sarawak. So there's a big difference. So let me repeat that, yeah. The majority of Iban people now live in Sarawak after migrating from Kalimantan, West Kalimantan, about 400 years ago. There was also a migration back to Kalimantan. But in Kalimantan, there are subgroups. I'm gonna show you this, but don't get scared. Try to memorize if you can. Iban, Kantuk, Mualang, Ketunggal, and Desa. But don't get stressed out, yeah? So I mentioned to you Iban earlier. Most of them live now in Sarawak, but a few 100,000 people are still living in West Kalimantan. And there are subgroups, Ketunggal, Mualang, Kantuk, Mualang, Ketunggal, and Desa. So I've been collecting Indonesian textiles since 1998. This is one sample. I want to show you a beautiful tapis sarong from Lampung. I'll show you another one, which is from Tony's Island. What is Tony's Island? Where is that? It's Bali, isn't it? It's Bali. A very nice long breastcloth from I think from Singaraja in Bali. Also collect beadwork. This is a rare betel-nut bag from Sumba. Part of my collection. Okay. Are we okay now? Okay, now we continue. So I first collected textile in 1998, and then in order to be able to learn more, I have to buy books. So I'm going to show you this book, one of the first books I bought, Splendid Symbols by Mateba Gittinger, one of the most respected scholars, textile scholars. So the Borneo chapter, in brackets, Kalimantan. Look at the picture on the left, and then the description says the textile is from Sarawak. Okay, fine. Let me find out why is it. I don't know. I didn't know that. So I'm gonna show you more picture. Okay, fine. Let's move on. Okay, from the same book. Pua, another one, Pua, the blanket. But they are from Sarawak region, Iban people. So what's going on here? We're talking about Kalimantan, and we understand that the ancestors of the Iban people in Sarawak come from Kalimantan, and there are still Iban people living in Kalimantan. But why are you showing me a textile from Sarawak? I'm going to show you a third book. Okay, this chapter about is on Indonesia. And that textile again, oh, okay, it is from Sarawak. So yes, and then I started, it began my quest actually to find out more. Just a bit of warning, I'm a journalist, I'm not a researcher, so I have to quote people, yeah. I'm going to show you a picture that I took in 1993 when I traveled to West Kalimantan. Can you see that? Pretty girls, beautiful girls dancing, and look at the skirts. Can you see that? Beautiful, man, beautiful. But I didn't care about Indonesian art back then, so I just casual took pictures. That's fine. The girls look so pretty. I didn't pay attention to the textile. This is 1993. But I only started to collect textile from Kalimantan in 2003. So about 5 years after I started my collecting. So why? Because the question is that what happened to the Iban in Kalimantan? And because I heard this name Kanto. Going back to this, yeah, what is Kanto? So Kanto is one of the subgroup. And those girls, let me show the picture again. They are Kanto girls. They are Kanto girls. So this is 2003. And I found my first Kanto skirt. So the picture was in 1993. I found my first Kanto skirt in 2003. So this is Kanto, yeah. So it's different from Iban. So different name, Iban, and then Kanto. It's one of the subgroups. Take a look at that. Beautiful on there. Yes. Let me show you the same one, but different. Hold on, yeah. So this is Kanto. Kanto. So beautiful. I was very happy. It was not in good condition, but I have it restored in Hong Kong. So it's a beautiful piece. So I was very happy to get that. So now going back to Iban again, and the function of the textiles. Let me show you this picture, which I took from a book. Potret Diri. Take a look at the girls and look at the huge textile behind them. It's called pua. Yeah. And let me show you one of the textiles that I have in my collection. So it's called pua. So what is pua actually? Pua is the textile they're hung around the ritual area in the longhouse, laid over the body of a deceased, used in shawl rituals. They also used in other rituals such as harvest, and displayed in longhouse. This is an Iban pua in my collection. So what is a longhouse? Okay, this is a longhouse. This is not an Iban longhouse, but it looks like this. I took this picture in 1993. I think this is Maloh longhouse, but the Iban longhouse looks similar. And this is the picture of the inside. The picture is not very good, but I think you can have an idea. This is I also took this picture in 1993. Okay. I'm going to show you this picture, an old picture from Dutch era. And I think this is, okay, before I show you this, I think this is from Mualang tribe. Let me share you. Can you see what happens there? Okay, let me zoom in, yeah? I'll show you another picture. Pay attention to the next picture. Can you see that? Tony, can you see that? I want to ask you now, what do you see that? what do you see the picture? What is that there? This lady is receiving something. What is that?
A piece of cloth.
Okay, so there's a cloth, but the guy.
Is it a head?
Yes, it's a head. It's a head. It's a head. Okay. Now let me.
I didn't see that.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it's a head. Let me share again. Yeah. It's been dried, so it's not like freshly cut head. So it literally. So that's the many function of pua. And from the skirt, pay attention to the skirt. Yeah. Pay attention to the skirt. From the skirt, I think this lady is from Mualang tribe, which is an Iban subgroup. Okay, let me show you this. Yeah, let me show you this. This is a Mualang skirt. This is a Mualang skirt. Okay, and then. Let's do it slowly, yeah. Let's do it slowly. Let's do it slowly. This is a Kanto skirt. Can you tell a difference? If you can't, doesn't matter. As I told you, don't get stressed out, yeah. This is a Kanto skirt, and this is the Mualang skirt. To me, they're totally different, but because I've been studying them for more than 10 years, but don't worry if you can't tell different, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Don't get stressed out. Okay. So let me read a bit about the function of a pua, yeah? This is from Michael Heppel. This is a pua in my collection. I don't know if it's a lizard or it is a crocodile. It does not really matter either. So this is what he said. So the pua are purposely made to be beautiful. As such, they attract the gods. The gods then pay attention when being supplicated. The major cloths, the pua, are inextricably linked with headhunting. Part of the process of creating them is called women's war. They are used by women to incite men to take heads. Many cloths have intrinsic force of power, sufficient at least to kill a woman not experienced enough to weave them. The power comes from the extraterrestrial phenomenon captured and pictured in the cloth. The main design is surrounded by borders to contain the power. Particular spirits like crocodiles are given pictorial food to eat so that they do not become hungry and break out of the barriers and feast upon their makers. Sounds very dramatic, isn't it? So that's one of the function of the pua. But I'm going to show you some samples. Another one here, which I got from a dealer in a friend dealer in Pontianak, capital of West Kalimantan province. Look at how beautiful it is, and it's also part of my quest to kill that kind of argument that beautiful pua can only be found in Sarawak. I've been hearing that so many times when I first started collecting. So look at this, for example, and you can see what I'm trying to say. Another sample here, I think I showed already. This is another one. I can't tell you what the motives is. It could be lich, it could be dragon, but hard to tell. I got it in Jakarta. Okay, now let's take a break a little bit. I'm going to show you this. before I move to the skirt. Yeah. So this is members of Wastra Indonesia, a group that I founded. We work very hard to make sure that we take back the narrative, among others. So instead of trying to rely on what certain scholars and dealers think about Indonesian textile, we try to come up with our own idea, of course, by doing our homework too. Okay. Any questions so far?
I do have one question.
Yes.
What does it okay, what do you mean? What can be classified as a pua? Is it like the dimensions or a particular, because of particular function? Yeah.
Yeah, so I already mentioned to you the pua, the function of the pua. It is hung in a longhouse during awake. It is displayed as a barrier separating the deceased from the rest of family members. So it functions as a ritual cloth.
Yeah.
And then it's not easy to, when it comes to try to differentiate between the style of pua woven by, let's say, Iban, Kanto, these are quite more challenging. It is easier to look at the skirts. That's why I need to take a break first so that you guys can actually try to absorb what is what the meaning of pua is. So yeah, basically it's ritual cloth. It is ritual cloth, and the skirt is a different one. The skirt, even though they can be very, very complicated, but they don't have the similar function like pua.
So it's there might be different dimensions of this.
Yeah. So basically,
yeah.
Okay. To give you a dimension, this is behind me is a pua, is about 1.5 meters.
Yeah.
But this is the skirt.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So you can see that, yeah, the dimension. We talk about dimension. The difference in this is worn as a skirt. This is not worn as anything. Just it's hung or sometimes you wrap it around your body during a ritual.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes. Yeah. And Kay was asking, what is that textile behind you, because she has a similar one.
Okay. So yeah, it's a pua. This is a pua, but don't ask me about motif. I think I was told this is a corpse of a ghost, a corpse, but is it true? I don't know. So yeah. But it looks very interesting. I haven't found actually the exact answer of what the meaning of this, the motif of this particular textile. But this is a pua. Yeah.
You know where is it from? Like,
it is West Kalimantan.
I see. Okay.
So basically, like this.
Can I ask a quick question? Sorry.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. My question is about the pua that you showed in the log house. This lady was giving to the man. So was it the lady giving to the man or the man giving to the lady?
Okay. This is quite interesting. And then this is based on a book published in the 50s, just a few years after Indonesia's independence. This is interesting because I think the original Dutch text mentioned that the lady is the chief. So it's quite unusual. So the lady is receiving is the chief of the village. So she's receiving the head, not the way around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because in ACM, when we used to talk about Iban, the pua kumbas, we always said that the woman weaves the pua kumba and she gives it as, it's actually used to receive the head. So it's the women who weave it, and it's for a particular ceremony or whatever. Anyway, that was our understanding.
Yeah, it is. There's the same thing like that is happening here. So I'm not sure if the lady, this chief, if you receive that or not, but that is a function of that. So to ritually receive the head.
Right.
It's not like freshly cut head. Of course, quite gruesome because otherwise the pua will be spoiled and stained by blood. But it's not the case. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No, it's not. And I want to show you this. I forgot to show you this. This is one example from the book. So during awake, yes, it's laid over the body to cover the body. Yeah. Can you see that? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There is
You sure?
Just one question, I guess, as we move along the conversation. Rosalie Rosalie Paino asks, what type of fibers that is used? Is it cotton, silk, or anything?
It's handspun cotton. It's handspun cotton usually. But what I understand in Kalimantan, since fine cotton, what we call benang toko, factory-made cotton, entered Kalimantan in the 19th century, they love using that kind of cotton. That's why, let me show you this. Yeah, this is the reason why they can create such intricate motif. Yeah, because handspun is very rough. It is very difficult. By using very fine threads, you can execute this this particular pattern with such clarity. This is one example. Anything else before we move on to skirt? I think Pua, don't worry about that. You can read books. I'll show you some books that you can read later on. But the function you can easily Google. I know it's the technology. Pua function Iban basically is the same whether it is in Central Kalimantan, West Kalimantan or Sarawak. What we're trying to do here actually to tell you that the West Kalimantan side is more diverse because those people, the subgroups that I mentioned here, the Ketunga, Mualang, and so on, they do not live in Sarawak. So basically, if you present it with a textile, Kanto textile, like this, for example, and somebody tell you this is from Sarawak, is totally wrong because this is not the case. Kanto people live in West Kalimantan. Okay, now let's move on to, let's try to identify the skirt. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, it's not as dangerous as weaving pua, but skirts can be very, very complex, can be even more beautiful. So actually, I prefer to collect the skirts than the pua. So skirts have been called bidang before among some scholars, but then again, I think they changed it to kain kebat. Kebat means to ikat. So the technique is ikat, yeah. So let me show you this picture again. Sorry. Yeah. So in these pictures, my friends there, they are showing textiles from Iban Textiles, Kanto, Mualang, I think also one Desa textile also. They look similar. They look similar. That's why don't worry about that. Don't worry if you're not able to identify those. But don't worry. They look similar, but they're not similar. Okay, let's start with another Kanto piece. Another beautiful skirt in my collection. This is from Kantuk area. Remember the pictures of the dancers? They're from the area. Take a look at it slowly. I'll show you another one. So this is the beauty of, based on my observation, textile from Kalimantan. You can see the edge there. They're decorated with the embroidery and also coins, Dutch coins. I don't see that kind of pattern in Sarawak, if I remember correctly. I'll show the real thing, yeah? See how beautiful it is. Okay, we're talking about Kantuk pieces. I'm gonna show you some pictures from the Tropen Museum. Kantuk ladies, look at the skirt, very beautiful. But I think they were told to cover the chest because what they're wearing actually pua. who are not supposed to be worn like that. So the Dutch officials thought, oh, it's not supposed to be like in Bali, Tony, if you remember, long time ago, the Dutch officials forced the women to cover the chest. So exactly what happened there too, for modesty. Another one. Another beautiful picture. They are Kantuk ladies. Look at the skirts. They are similar to those I've just shown you. Yeah. Two more pictures. These are the details. Beautiful. Last one. Yeah. Mother and daughter. Very nice, very cute picture. Okay, now I'm gonna ask you all. So those textiles from which tribe? That I've just shown you, from which tribe? From which group? Tony?
You might want to flash the 5 names again. I think people.
I just showed you some textile. From which group are they?
Mualang.
No. Linel?
You said Kantuk.
Oh, Kantuk. Okay, they are Kantuk, yeah. Okay, let me show you. Hold on, yeah. So okay, after this, you're gonna move to Mualang, but let me show you again, yeah. So slowly.
We have Jane and Rosalie Paino. Jane Ku and Rosalie Paino guessed correctly. Kantuk.
Okay, don't get stressed out. Don't worry. Okay, Kantuk, yeah. Take a look at that. Don't worry about the motif because I'm not gonna talk about that. Kantuk, another Kantuk. Hold on, yeah. I'm gonna tease you now with something else. Hold on, yeah. Hold on. Hold on, yeah. Okay, it's correct. We're talking about Kantuk, but I want to show you this. I want to show you this. This is the beauty of the difference between. This is what makes things very, very interesting. This is also Kantuk, but a small pua. Confused? Pingsan? Okay, don't worry. This is also Kantuk. So what is interesting about Iban Textile, Ibanic textiles, the pattern can change dramatically. Yeah. So for example, I'll show you again Kantuk. This is the skirt. The skirt. They're beautiful, very tightly done, very nice. But when they create pua, the pattern will change dramatically. It becomes more sparse. I have to say, I'm not a big fan of Kantuk pua, but I have to collect anyway, a few pieces. This is another sample of Kantuk pua. The pattern changed just dramatically, right? Okay. Any question, Tony? This is
not from the chat.
Yeah, this is Kantuk pua. Again, yeah, this is Kantuk pua. And this is Kantuk skirt. So after years of reading and comparing and look at textile, and then you can tell. So if you can't, don't worry, because it took a while for me to got a lot of headache trying to understand. Yeah. Okay. Now we move to number 2. Yes, that's more angular, more dense actually. Yeah. Now we move to number 2. Number 2, Mualang. Mualang is different. Again, Kantuk, yeah. And this is Mualang. Sorry. Where is it? This is mualang. Quite different, right? Okay, I'll show you another sample of mualang. I've shown to you earlier, but let me show it again. Another mualang. Another mualang. Okay, the next picture I'll show you also mualang, but different technique, which is supplementary weft. Mualang. Okay. Okay. Any question? Any question?
Not from the chat. If anyone has any question, feel free.
Don't fall asleep.
Yeah. By the way, for those who just joined in, mualang is referring to the Iban subgroups. So these are the.
Please memorize this. No, I don't memorize this.
You might need to move it nearer to the camera.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there is
we talk
Kanto,
about
mualang, ketunggau, and desa.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to show you desa. Desa is.
A video commented. Is it more sparse in terms of their motif?
Oh, which one? Mualang.
Mualang, yes.
In a way, it is. I can say that, yes, a little bit, but they have certain pattern, certain design. It has become like a template for them. It's quite rigid, actually. It's just like that. It's like that, yeah. So the hook, all the motif, they look similar, but still they're beautiful. And I'll show you another sample. I'll let you guys actually interpret the motif yourself. It's sparse, okay, fine. If you think so, that's okay. Yeah, the two kantuk, this is the mualang pieces. Another one. Yeah. Okay, if there's no question, let's move on to desa. I only have one sample of desa. Again, I collect what I like. It doesn't mean I don't like it, but this is nice. Yeah, so that's a textile. It is actually newly woven textile with natural dyes by weavers in Sintang, West Kalimantan. That's desa. I'm gonna show you the real one. So they call it tatting, and you have it here. I think this pattern, which they call sandung, which is a container for the ancestors' bone. I'm not sure it is the correct term or not, but it's been around for some time. That assumption. So this is called tatting. This is the back. This is the front. Pay attention to this because this one is rather similar to the next group, which is ketunggau. Ketunggau. Okay.
Before I continue, can I say that a skirt is a tubular cloth like a sarong but it's shorter?
Yeah, just like this is a skirt. It's basically a skirt. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, skirt.
So it's just a tubular piece of cloth that you tie like a sarong.
Yeah, so basically I forgot to mention to you. So dealers are usually quite naughty when they sell textile. So they open it up. It shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't be like this, yeah. And in the process, sometime the seam was damaged. So the original textile should look like this.
I see.
Yeah. Okay, now ketunggal. This is another, this is one sample of ketunggal. Feel free to interpret the motif, that's fine. Because it can be quite tricky. I mean, some people may, oh, this is not ketunggal, it could be kanto. Okay. But I read somewhere that this motif could be created by someone a kanto lady who married into a ketunggal family. That's why you see the pattern at the top. That looks like triangle. See? Take a look at the triangle. Whether it's true or not, I can't tell you, but let me show you this piece. This is kanto. And look at the triangle patterns too. It's just smaller. Can you see that?
I think you might need to zoom it a little bit.
Come again?
You might need to zoom the photo a little bit.
I'm so bad. Hold on.
Yes.
Can I zoom?
There.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
You can see. Can you see that? The triangle.
Mm-hmm.
The borders.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then go back to this piece. If you think, oh, they don't look similar, they look similar, it does not matter. It does not matter. Don't get stressed out. Okay. This is another ketunggal sample, which is very, very beautiful. But the question, how can you tell? Usually I look at the border, look at the bottom. The motif that is been identified and set as sandung motif in desa textile, but usually ketunggal people have that. Look at the bottom. Can you see? Another one.
I have a question here from Susan. Are the borders two separate pieces? Oh, are they two separate pieces?
No, there's one big piece of textile and sewn together, attached together, connected.
Yeah. And another question from Jane on the function of the skirt. How is the skirt held in place? How is it worn?
How is it worn? Okay, it's very easy. Hold on, yeah. It's very easy. It's just like that.
How? Is there like a
Ask
belt or?
I think there should be a belt. I didn't dare to ask the ladies that. I think it should be as normally. Yeah, I think there should be a belt. There should be a belt. There should be a belt. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a metal belt. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the metal belt. Maybe I'll show you another picture. Yeah. So hold on. Yeah. Maybe you can. Okay. Maybe this one can help. Yeah. Maybe this can help. Yeah. It's hard to say, but you see, like Lena said, it could be silver belt. Yeah. And okay.
A video asked, do the men wear it too?
No. The men wear loincloth, but I don't have the picture. Hold on, yeah, let me show you you can see it here, perhaps. This is what they wear. Loincloth, the one that is giving the head to the chief, the female chief. And okay, since you thank you for mentioning that, because I want to talk about it later, but let me show you this. Yeah. Okay, go back to Kanto again. Yeah, go back to Kanto again. Okay, we're now in where are we now? Where are we now?
Where are we?
Where are we? No, we're talking about ketunggal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Since we mentioned the men, so I need to show you this. But this is Kanto. Yeah, this is Kanto. Oops, sorry. Can you see the jacket?
Yeah.
This is Kanto Jacket. One of my beautiful pieces. The man will be wearing this there. And see how beautiful it is. There was Chrissy made a comment on fasten, is it? What is?
Yeah. She said that I think it is folded to fit the body and then held tight with a belt.
Yeah.
At least that's what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, it's a confession. Sometimes I try this too because I want to know what happened. That's exactly what Chrissy said. Yeah, because you got to fold it a little bit. Yeah, and then fasten. Yeah. Okay, now go back to Ketungau. Yeah, Ketungau. Okay, sorry. Where are we now? Yeah, this is another sample of Ketungau piece. So I look at this border. So it's has not been cut by the dealer. So which is okay. I'm very happy to have this. Okay, we have Kantu, we have Mualang. Okay, hold on, yeah, one by one. We have Kantu. We have Kantu. We have Mualang. Mualang, yeah. We have Desa or Desa, maybe the way they pronounce it. Desa. Yeah. And we have Ketungau. I think there's a question from Linel.
Well, Linel is commenting regarding the borders. The threads are ikated, I believe, is tied separately, then warped on the loom along with solid colored threads to create the accent stripes. All are woven as one piece of cloth.
So this is okay. This is the inside of the cloth. So it is. Can you see the seam here? And they embroider it with these different threads.
I see.
Yeah. This is the. This is the outer part. Inner part. Okay, so now Iban. Any question before that? I'm going to show you some Iban textile, Iban skirt. What is the difference between Iban skirt in Kalimantan and also in Sarawak? It's difficult to say, but this is again based on my observation of more than 10 years. I think the Iban skirt from Kalimantan tend to be more orderly, more structured, just like the skirts woven by the subgroups. One sample is this one. Yeah, one Iban. Yeah, this is Iban. I got it in Jakarta. So usually when well, I'm showing you this. So I've been talking to several dealers, several in Jakarta, in Bali, and also in Kuching. So hundreds of textiles from West Kalimantan have been sold to Sarawak, to Kuching, because it is easier for them to bring those textiles to Kuching rather than to Bali or Jakarta. Let me show you the map so you have an idea how difficult it is. So Kuching is somewhere in near the border there. Also Pontianak, the capital of West Kalimantan. So it's easier for them just to cross the border, take a bus to bring those textiles, rather than flying to Bali, which takes so much money and time. Also just Jakarta. So usually, I'll be specific when I ask about the origin, the provenance of the textile. Where do you get this textile from? When it is clear, and then okay, when I'm convinced to buy, and I'll buy. If not, I will be asking around again. I want to show this. Okay, Hold on, yeah. Still on. Okay, this one is, I got it in Bali. But lately, I don't know why, some textile from Iban Textile from Sarawak also end up in Bali. But I asked this guy, so where do you get it from? Say from a dealer in Pontianak. This is another Iban sample of Iban Textile. Another Iban. And then another one. So they're all Iban pieces, yeah? Iban skirts from West Kalimantan. Any question? What about motif? Again, I'm not going to talk about motif. Why? For example, this has been identified. This is a Kanto piece. It has been identified as penukoh. What is penukoh? There's no explanation about penukoh except for the zigzag pattern. I don't. Okay, penukoh, but what is that? Okay, fine. And below that, you see that dots or eyes or balls. They have not been identified yet. So again, don't worry about that, because I think for me, the first thing, the important thing is that you collect what you like. It's not because a dealer told you, okay, fine, you got to collect this because like this. And I've been told by so many dealers many times that, oh, textile from West Kalimantan are so ugly, so unappealing, bad condition, and apparently not.
Is penukoh actually what the people call it, or is it a name that is given
And
when
given
someone is writing?
by some scholars, actually, by some scholars from the books that I read. So yeah, and it is whether it's penukoh or not, I have no idea.
Okay.
So it's a confession. I don't care anymore. You can say whatever you like. You can say it's a deer. You can say it's a ghost. I don't care. I mean, just buy what you like. I mean, for example, like this. I don't know where this is Iban or Mualang or what. It is hard to say because there's a challenge of collecting Iban textile from Kalimantan. There's not much information. Is it a crocodile or is it a lizard? I'll leave it to you to see that.
Do the people there actually name them, or they just create something?
This is
whatever
actually,
they like.
This is also part of the thing, yeah, part of the thing.
Yes.
Let me go back to this, my very cynical, post on Facebook last time. Yeah, I mean, so after reading several books, and then basically if you present a piece of textile to a weaver and ask the person to identify that, she can scold you and say, I didn't weave the thing, so how can I tell you what it means? So it can be as simple as that. I'm not saying that what has been done is just rubbish. No, I can't say that. But, and again, as a journalist, I'm very, very cynical. So, okay, fine. If you think it is a deer, which doesn't look like a deer, okay, fine. But I think, to me, it's a matter of finding joy in collecting those pieces. Why finding joy? For example, this is Iban jacket. What is that? Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, Indonesia's national logo, Garuda Pancasila. It was found where, have a guess. This is interesting. So an acquaintance in Kuching saw that, and he told me this is a particular jacket in one of those shop houses in Kuching. But this is not Sarawak. This is Indonesia. That's why that theory of so many textiles from Indonesia have been sold to Kuching for so many years. I think there's some truth in there. I think this is true. This is one good example. So I managed to buy this with his help to get this particular textile. I'm very happy. This is Iban.
Interesting. So they are actually from Indonesia.
That's right.
And you bought it from Malaysia.
Exactly. And I saw a piece like this long time ago. Hold on, yeah. I've shown you before this one, yeah. A similar piece in Kuching. But since I was not really big fan of Kanto Pua, this is a small Pua, I didn't buy that. I got beaded jackets from West Kalimantan also. So Kuching has become a center of, just like Bali. You can find Indonesian textile from many islands in Bali. Kuching is the place to find textiles from from Kalimantan, from Borneo, basically. The thing of the difference is like this. In Bali, you can tell this textile is from Flores, from Sumba, from Timor, from Minangkabau. But in Kuching, it's not the case. They won't tell you the actual, the provenance, the origin of those textiles. So you've got to really ask carefully. And I've been told by one or two dealers, actually, yes, so many pieces come from Kalimantan anyway. So I'm not being nationalistic, it's not, because this is part of the kind of a challenge for me to find out more about these particular textiles. I'm going to share a book. This was published in 2015. And look at the pattern, the cover. Good. I just want to make sure you didn't fall asleep when I talk to you. Where is it from? Where is it from?
Starting with the M, the Mualang.
Yeah. Good, thank you. I'm very happy. So it's similar textile in my collection. It looks like that, right? Yes, it's Mualang. It's Mualang. Thank you, thank you. I'm very happy. So this was published in 2015. I started collecting textile from West Kalimantan, Iban, Kanto Jacket in 2004. So it was like a mad rush to find those textiles because it's quite difficult to find. What is interesting is that the writer wrote here, he first learned about Iban textiles in Bali. But then someone suggested to him that he should go to Sarawak to find more about Iban textiles. So, oh really? What happened to, what about West Kalimantan? I know it's not easy to go there, but I've been there myself. And that's why I managed to take this picture, which I cherish so much because it's actually a reminder that these beautiful textiles are so unstudied, unrecognized, neglected, and I don't know why. And there's some efforts, I guess, I'm not accusing anybody, by certain Western scholars, certain Western dealers to elevate Kuching, Sarawak as the center of Iban study. Nothing wrong with that. It's also a challenge for the Indonesian Iban to start doing something.
Yeah, Lenel has a comment actually on the motif part. Lenel, do you want to unmute or do you want me to read it?
Motif, please don't scare me. I'm a lousy speaker when it comes to motif, but I will try.
No. Lenel wrote in the chat that the Iban weavers that she studied with seems to have some established motifs, but the whole story of the motifs on a pua comes to them in a dream.
Yes.
So
yes.
the cloth will have a name similar to the way an artist would name a painting. This might be just the way they do it. And
Yeah, so
probably
basically,
there's like no particular.
Yeah, so different interpretation. Different people will explain different ideas. That's why I don't want to be rigid about that. So whatever you hear, whatever you learn, you read, just keep them and study them, and then you can come up with your conclusion later. Forgot to show you this. This is another sample of. Okay, I show you Kanto. Okay, earlier I'll show you this, yeah. Mana tuh? Sebentar. I'll show you this earlier. Okay, this jacket, yeah. I'll show you earlier. Okay, now I need to ask you. Which group is that? That is which group? The jacket I just showed you.
Show it again.
Okay.
I didn't know there was going to be a quiz.
I know. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Ketungau?
No.
Iban.
No.
No? I recognize the water bugs though.
Yeah. Yes. It's called water bugs there. Yeah. Water
Yeah,
mosquito. Water bug.
but the border is different and the collar is different.
Yes.
But the triangles.
Yes.
Triangles are more like the Iban, right? No, the Kanto.
Yes, Kanto. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy. Yeah, it is Kanto. It is Kanto. It is Kanto. So I'm gonna show you some Iban textiles. Yeah, not necessarily ikat. Okay, this is sungkit supplementary web.
Yeah.
I got
Sorry, John
Yes.
has a question. Are the textile patterns always symmetrical?
Come again.
Are the
It tend to be symmetrical, or maybe Linel can help from what you've seen before.
It depends. The one you're showing right now is not symmetrical because it's a 3-fold ikat. So you see on the top half, there's 3 of the motifs.
Yeah.
So it depends on the way you fold the warp. You can fold it twice, 3 times, or 4 times. And then it's like a carbon copy.
Yeah, yeah. Linal is a weaver, so she understands. If you ask me to weave, I will kill the instructor. I have no patience. Okay. Thanks so much. So another Iban jacket, yeah, Iban jacket. I got it in Bali. I'm very happy. So I don't know if it's crocodile or lizard because I can't tell the difference. Can you tell the difference? Okay, let's make a guess. What is that? A lizard or a crocodile?
Crocodile.
Okay, then if you believe that's crocodile, that's fine, because that's the challenge of identifying Iban textiles. Because what is this? It looks like, doesn't look like a water skitter, doesn't look like a deer, doesn't look like a sleeping cat. I know this term, but I don't want to talk about it because I'm also in doubt. This is the back side of the textile. This is the front side. Yeah. Okay. This is another one. I'm going to show you another one that I really like. Another Iban's jacket. Also got it from Bali. And look at the motif. I'm not sure about that. Is it hantu, is ghost, or I'm not sure. Or it's a skull. It doesn't matter. You won't be judged or punished for not knowing the pattern. Trust me. And I like this a lot. I got it in Bali. So it's so beautiful. Look at that. There is, I think there's could be a snake. And you have that. Oh, hold on, yeah. You have an aeroplane, isn't it? See, so cute. So I don't know, maybe it was woven in the 60s during confrontation with Indonesia with Malaysia. I don't know, it could be. According to the guy in the shop, it's in Kerobokan, he said they got it in a Lanjak area in West Kalimantan. I love this so much. So this is used in ritual as a headcloth. Apa lagi ya? The collection also in Iban in Tropen Museum. I'm going to show you. The picture is not very good. And this is also the reason why I'm so eager to find out more. I'll tell you why after this. Okay. I have this book. Before that, remember there is Dutch Borneo, British Borneo. Remember that? Okay, I'll show you the map again. Yeah, I'll show you the map again. So Kalimantan was Dutch Borneo. Sarawak, Sabah is not written there, part of British Borneo. Yeah, okay. So Dutch controlled Borneo, British controlled Borneo. This book is interesting. I recommend you to buy this book. Again, whether you trust the research or not is up to you. What is interesting is that like this, it is published by KIT Publisher Amsterdam, Dutch. We're talking about Dutch publisher, and the Dutch ruled the part of Borneo, and this is book about Sarawak. So, okay, another challenge. I think that's about it. Actually, I'm gonna give you more, more samples. Unidentified pua, because I don't have access to. I can't ask anybody. This is another pua, but I can't tell whether this is Iban or Ketunggal. Maybe Ketunggal. I need to find someone who can help me. Maybe someday I can find the answer. This is also one problematic pua, the ritual cloth. I don't know whether this is Kanto or Iban or what. It's hard to tell. Maybe it's safe to say Ibanic, which means part of the Iban group in West Kalimantan. But this is one of my favorite collection. Another ritual cloth. It has ikat and supplementary weft. It's from Badau area in West Kalimantan, near the border. So that's part of the challenge. This one could be desa. Pay attention to the motif. I love this so much. It looks quite simple, but it's quite glowing. It's very nice. Okay, pay attention to the motif. Yeah, that's why I think this is desa, and I'll show you this one. There. Yeah. So I think that's desa. Someone, is it Chrissy? Any comment from?
Yeah. Wow. So Lionel was talking about the motif that you also see military vehicles in rugs from the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
And Linnell commented, I have seen a Desa textile with an airplane.
Yeah,
on it. I said it was the first time she rode an airplane.
I see.
The weavers, yeah.
Okay. So where are we now? One more sample, yeah. This is from the collection of Tropen Museum, but it's mislabeled as Mualang. So even the Dutch don't really pay much attention to that. So this raised question why maybe. Actually, I wanted to go to Amsterdam to learn more, but then COVID hit, so I have to wait to make appointment with people from the museum to really learn about Iban textiles. So where are we now? What am I doing with those textiles? This is my living room. You can hang it there.
Nice.
Yeah, but the function has changed a little bit. So in the previous talk, someone asked me about cultural appropriation. It's a tough question to ask, and I'm going to show you this. This is from one of my friends. So the pua from Sintang Desa, being used as a, what do you call that? Sarong? Yeah. So the question is that, is it appropriate or not? I mean, I'll leave it to you, because now no head hunting, nothing. But then again, if we want the tradition to continue, someone should buy it. You can't expect people to, okay, buy those textiles like me and then hang it in their living room like this. I will not dare to wear this as a skirt cloth. I can wear batik, maybe other textile, but this is because I study a little bit about the function. I do not dare, but we cannot stop people from wearing pua as this. I mean, I'll leave it to you to decide. Finally, hopefully, this is also part of the whole Iban iconography. This is displayed during festivity. It's Hornbill effigy. This is from a Tungau area. I'm very lucky to have it from a collector in Singapore who got it in West Kalimantan. It's in my house if you want to see. Maybe next time we can have.
What is that? No.
Oh, it's burung kenyalang, hornbill effigy, which is displayed during rituals, harvest, to invite the spirit of the ancestors. We tie in a pole, hang it. There's a piece of textile, but it's not really, you can't see that on the left, hanging. Small piece of textile.
Vidya has a question about the colors. Yeah, do you have?
Oh, yes. Colors are usually Morinda colors, which is their trademark. I'm going to show you this. Yeah, hold on. Okay, this is this one sample of. Hold on, where is that? This is another sample of Desa textile, which is beautiful. This is from Threads of Life. I've been begging them for I don't know so many years. Please, please, I want to have it. Eventually, I got it. I was very happy because it's such a tremendous difference. So when they started, the colors look like this. So it's not deep enough, but we can't blame them because of deforestation. They need to go to the forest to collect certain roots for the dye and so on. And because of that, I think they're having trouble too of trying to preserve at least the color. So it's a challenge. I mean, it is linked to deforestation too, this preservation of textiles in the country, in Indonesia. And now we have COVID. They're struggling to sell. I think the intention, I think the focus sometimes to sell as many textiles as possible to Westerners, to foreigners. But I think I have the opinion the market is still Indonesia because of the size, and Indonesians still like to buy. Although perhaps you have to be quite resourceful by selling pua or skirt for this kind of purpose. This was taken recently, even during COVID. You know, Indonesians like to, sometimes they don't pay much attention to. But
this is during.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, it looks quite okay. I don't know what the weavers think, but I think they don't mind. Will the ancestors get angry? I don't know. They seem to be okay. Yes. Is Chrissy here from Meet the Makers?
Yes.
Chrissy, yes. I need your help. So what's the latest? What's the latest situation now in preservation? And what's the problem now? Is it talking about threats?
Yeah. Well, I think one big issue, especially with the Iban subgroups that are bordering with Malaysia, is the issue of migration. There are, in terms of going into the labor workforce in Sarawak, that's a big pull for the weavers to go over there. In fact, there are some groups that are young and they don't want to work as laborers in Sarawak, so they try to continue with their tradition. But of course, that's difficult in getting something that meets all the daily needs. In our work, and well, in my work in both looking at and working with artisans in West Kalimantan as well as in East Kalimantan, I've noticed that in East Kalimantan, especially those working on basketry, that they're less isolated in terms of, I mean, you've been to Kapuas Hulu and to Sintang and Skadao, it's like takes hours and hours, and for some Iban areas you need to take a long boat, then a speedboat, then a small boat, and so we visit some of these Iban groups, and they don't have access to education, so many of them, the teachers keep changing, and so whereas in East Kalimantan I found that some have been able to also have other professions, like become teachers, become nutritionists, and then still be proud to practice and do it well. So somehow both income stream supports help them in proceeding with their tradition. So that's what I've seen. Like you said, that the deforestation is a very big factor. In Sintang, where the Katungao are and the Dayak Desa are, there are very few spots left where they can find the traditional dyes and the fixatives. So there is work now to kind of keep those areas intact, because some of them are already in the middle of plantations. So, so because oil palm is almost everywhere there in Sintang. But there are laws which require these plantations to keep these areas in high conservation value forests. But usually these plantations don't know what to do. So it's a matter of trying to find a solution between the private sector, the government, and the local people. So I think those are big ones: migration, conversion of forest, isolation, lack of basic services, and also migration. Also, I mean, the Dayak Desa, in Sintang itself also, there's only one longhouse left, and that's in Ensai Panjang. And they said in previous time, many of the longhouses were destroyed because they were seen to be the center of the spread of communism in the 60s. So you know that time, right, Lewa? So can you imagine what kind of tradition and culture was lost when these longhouses were destroyed? So the one in Ensai Panjang is the one that's, it's trying to be supported. But yeah, it's the last one in Sintang. In Kapos Hulu, you'll still find many. So there are quite a number of challenges there.
Thank you so much, Chrissy. I mean, yeah, it is. Yeah, he sums up very well what the real situation, because let's say, if I may challenge you later on, just do Google search on various articles about Iban in Kalimantan. For example, Journal of Borneo Kalimantan, Volume 4, Iban Textiles, which is written by a number of people: Alexander Chelum, Anna Jurin, Muhammad Kwain Bim, etc. So they do talk about political, all these problems that happened back in the 60s, in the 70s, and then the migration also. So it is very, very complex. That's why I try not to bring that into conversation, because it become another matter. But it's also a reminder that for Central West Kalimantan, it's not very easy at all. So the textile that I've shown you, they were woven, most of them in the early 20th century and even in the 19th century. So preservation is quite difficult. In Desa, they still make it. Also Iban, part of Iban areas in West Kalimantan. Ketungau, maybe yes and or no, but I think Mualang and Kanto, they no longer weave. There could be efforts to revive that, but it is, again, migration is a factor. And also the reason why I want to focus on Kalimantan, because it's so unique. There's so many problems there that we don't know. So if we don't know, then we don't want to know, and then we can't talk about this. And I don't know if it's right or not. I mean, the Iban in Sarawak tend to look down on their cousin in West Kalimantan too. There's also so many problems, basically. Yeah, which I think we can discuss later on. If you want to go into details of deforestation and the impact on weaving, maybe by Chrissy or by Linnell and others. I think so far that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed that. Any question, please? But not about motif, please.
So you mentioned that.
Thank you, Chrissy. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're welcome. I'd love to continue discussing this. Thank you.
Yes, you might turn your camera to be our guest panelist.
Can I ask a quick question? So,
Sure.
Yes.
hi, okay. So first of all, I want to thank you very much because I'm super interested. I don't know if you can see, this is in my house.
Yeah, nice one.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm in California right now. So this is hanging right in my house there, which I that's why this talk really has interested me a lot. And I am super interested in motifs. Sorry about that, because to me, motifs are like a continuation of tradition, and they have lots of meaning. So you know, for me, that's a very, I personally think, you know, in terms of textiles, that's what keeps continuity. That's what keeps people, you know, in perpetuation of traditions. I think that's, to me, the one important thing. My second question was about the colors. You have several of them which are like really bright colors, and then some of them are kind of faded out. Is that because of the age, or is it because of like this one is kind of, I mean, we were told this was really old. Is it because of the age, or is it because that's how it was woven?
Okay, first thing first, on the motif, that's why I understand that. I mean, it is my personal choice actually not to look into that after talking to so many people about understanding the motifs of Iban textile. Even Matia Balgitinja also mentioned it's very challenging, but don't worry. For example, you can buy this book, for example, and the motifs in there. I've read it, and then it's just my personal choice. So, okay, I've given up. I've given up on trying to read the deer, to read the deer, and that to linta and lich. I don't know, because unlike just like Sumba textile, you have it's quite easy to identify the horses, the birds, you know, parrots, etc. But Iban is always very challenging. But please explore more, buying more books, and then there's nothing wrong in that. It's just my personal choice to just kind of given up, which maybe I'll revisit that later. I tried to memorize a few motifs, for example, like sleeping cat, remaung, and then tiger, lintah, or whatever. And again, hantu, it's too complicated. And again, because of the argument, sometimes it's sometimes you just ask a weaver and we just scold you. I don't weave that. I don't know. In terms of color, it's hard to say. I guess maybe is it the color, the pictures, the photos, but I think they're usually quite similar. There isn't for the older one. There's certain depth in those colors, Morinda, Mengkudu colors. So let me show you again. Yeah, maybe this will help. So this is when, okay. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this is the new piece, but because I think the dyeing is not very deep, maybe because of lacking material, or but then again, they managed to create.
Are you sure that one is Mengkudu? Because they also use Sambanki, which is brown.
They also use a buck.
I can show you a piece of that. That's what they had for me. They didn't. Morinda is a long process.
Yeah, exactly. So this one I think is Mengkudu, Morinda, because some people in Iban charity they also use bark cloth, not bark cloth, the bark. So this the color, yeah,
Sambanki.
Yeah, I have something like that. So the color is like that.
Yeah, and that's a tree bark.
Yeah,
I mean, Morinda is a root, but you have to do a long process to oil the fibers and mordant them.
So I have something like I have something like that. So the color is more muted. The
cinnamon stick kind of color.
Yeah. So that's a difference. I hope that answered the question.
And the blues in it, do they use indigo? Is that what they're using?
Yeah.
And
so when you have that dark brown, that's the indigo over the Morinda.
Okay.
Hold on, yeah, Lina, maybe you can help me. So in this, what do you see in that?
That's Morinda and indigo.
Yeah, Morinda, indigo. There's indigo and also chemical dyes. The yellow
maybe
turmeric?
It might be the yellow. Might be jackfruit.
Might be jackfruit, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And the green is probably indigo and the same yellow.
Yeah.
So,
do they use turmeric Was
It
curious.
could be turmeric, but turmeric is not very color fast. So it's either
right. That's what
it might be mango tree bark. It could be turmeric and mango tree bark, because mango tree bark makes the yellow more color fast.
Oh, cool.
Hold on. Yeah, let me show. Lina, we can help me this one too. So the yellow, oh, it's a bit damaged, but what do you think about the yellow there?
That one's pretty bright. So,
Yeah.
that one could be like the mango tree bark with turmeric.
that, yeah.
I didn't do any yellow with them, so we didn't discuss that.
Yeah.
I only know what I know from like West Timor and Threads of Life and other things.
Yeah. Okay, this one also has yellow. This pua, yeah. A bit of.
Because I don't think they use mirobalon that I know. So I think they're probably using tree barks. Or the other yellow is Jalue. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another yellow.
Yeah.
But basically, tree barks are really stable color fast, and tree barks and tree roots because they have tannins.
So this is okay. This is a textile from Lampung. I got it recently. I'm very happy anyway. I'm broke. that's yellow.
Is that an ikat in the bands?
No, it's silk. No ikat in no ikat. Yeah.
It's beautiful though. So it's a brocade.
Yeah, it's embroidery. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's open and then.
Is it also silver threads? Are they using silver threads?
This is Lampung silver thread.
Gorgeous.
Chinese silk. Yeah.
And where's that from?
Lampung.
Lampung.
Lampung. So.
Wondering if anyone has any questions for.
I think I saw Chrissy. A comment from Chrissy there. No.
Chrissy commented, very interesting session, and Borneo continues to be fascinating on many fronts, culturally, the ecology, etc. And thank you, Lewa, for leading the discussion.
Okay. Come again. Thank you. This one I don't know. This is the textile behind me. So this is the close up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. So I got it in Jakarta. I mean, you can see some stain in there because I forgot to mention it also used like as in piring ritual. So they put the plates on top of this pua. So of course you got broth like. So you can see the stain, but it's beautiful. So I think the color is very beautiful, gorgeous morinda, isn't it? Some yellow in there too. Yeah.
Do they have octopi in that area in the sea? Because it looks like an octopus to me.
Yeah, but I think if I remember correctly, someone told me it is actually a ghost that eating a corpse eating ghost. I don't know. I don't want to say whatever you like. I don't.
It's a friendly ghost.
Exactly. They make it so intriguing. Also frustrating. Is it true? I have no idea.
Well, I also heard that there's lots of tree of life that they put in their motif.
Maybe the kind of hold on. Yeah, let me hold on. Yeah, maybe here. I don't know. Maybe vine motif. Maybe Linel. I'm not as diligent.
The rattan is in there a lot.
This one, I know what it is. This is. I love it so much. It's so halus. So yeah. This also one textile that say, okay, you keep been telling me textiles from Kalimantan are rubbish. Look at this. Something like that, more like a personal revenge.
So much work, so much work.
Yeah.
Lenel, how's your experience? Well,
I'm sorry?
You learn weaving with the tribes now?
Yeah, with Tanjuga, the weavers at Tanjuga. So in Kuching.
So I mean, I may sound quite nationalistic. I've been told, don't be super national, I'm Indonesian. But anyway, it's not. That's the point, because the point is basically, I want to say it again, I want to learn more. After reading so many books, I still don't understand what's going on here, basically. And of course, I have to thank Edric last time. This is the first book when I was posted in Kuala Lumpur in 2000 when from Jakarta when I worked for Reuters. And I still keep the receipt. Actually, it's about 60, I think somewhere here. So it opened up my my eyes about Iban Textile, and actually also rang Edric long time ago. Hey, I want to learn about West Kalimantan textile, and he gave me the email address of the Father Jacques. And there is also a book here. This is in Bahasa Indonesia. So a lot of work has been done. Motif like gigi beras or rice motif and so on. I've been reading that. But then again, yes, I need to read more and then understand.
Can I ask maybe a dumb question?
No, I'm also learning. I'm also learning.
I just noticed the title of your book is Dayak Desa, the Dayak nation or Dayak country or whatever. Now, is that the Iban?
Yeah, so
is it a subgroup of the Dayaks?
Yes, the subgroup. Yeah, the subgroup.
Okay.
Yeah, the subgroup.
So the Dayaks, in terms of the religion, is the Karingan, right? I mean, they animistic beliefs and things like that. Is that?
I think Karingan is Kalimantan, central,
Kalimantan, yeah.
central part, different ethnic
Right.
group.
Central, yeah.
Central Kalimantan. Iban is, I think they're mostly Christian now.
Okay.
Christian, yeah. So this is
Right. Okay. Thank you.
For the people in Singapore, there are several books, including one of Edric's books, not the one he held up, but his Woven Dreams book, are in the reference library on the 8th floor, I think it is. And then the group that I studied with is Tanjuga also has a library. So that's when we can travel again in Kuching. They have a whole room that's just about Iban culture. And there's like one whole row of stuff on textiles.
We have a question from David. Are other fibers used, like the leaves, like in ulap doyo?
Not that I know. Lina, can you help me?
I have a piece that's made out of that vine, but it's a small piece. So this is made from a vine.
Yeah, it's
but I don't know which kind of Dayak. It was a workshop I took before I knew anything about this.
I think it's Kalimantan. It's Kalimantan. Yeah.
I'm connected to her on Facebook, but
yeah.
Dayak Benua from Kutai Barat. Yeah, East Kalimantan.
Yeah, and Iban also have this kind of this is also Iban, different technique, supplementary web. I got it in Jakarta during what do you call that? The Inacraft long time ago. Okay.
Oh, I pulled out something else when you were talking about the yarn and you were talking about changing to using commercial thread. So this is the commercial thread. It's already been dyed, so it's even already a little fluffy. And this one isn't Iban. It's from West Timor, but you can see the difference in a hand spun yarn. The white one's hand spun, and the other one is the commercial yarn. So you can get a much better pattern when you tie the ikat.
Okay.
Great. Well, we look forward to your book, hopefully someday.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to talk to us, Tony last time. Let's do an exhibition on Iban and Ibanic textile from West Kalimantan. Again, partly because maybe I'm nationalistic anyway, so because of that part of not knowing what really happened. So basically just an exhibition. One day we can talk about it. I think my own personal goal is basically to reintroduce the beauty of textile from West Kalimantan before it's too late, because there's so many problems, like Chrissy mentioned. Also, it's just so many problems, so many problems that we have to overcome. And now COVID-19 has made life become more difficult for those people in the interior of West Kalimantan.
Well, and not even just the dye stuff, but I know that the weavers I was working with are already having trouble getting the beeswax that they use to wax the ikat ties. They're cutting everything down, so there's no bees anymore.
Yeah.
And we all know about that problem.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much again, Lewa and
you.
Dinel for.
Hey.
Yeah, and thank you everyone for spending Saturday afternoon with us. Before I just close off, and after I do the closing, feel free to stay behind and we can discuss some more. So let me just share. Just would like to introduce what's coming up from an art gallery. So I will be okay. I'll pull up. So I will have 2 offline sessions coming out on the 11th of April. If you are in Singapore, do drop by. The first one is entitled "Creating Personal Textile Heritage." I'll be talking about batik and in relation to nature. And then the second one, I'll be doing a batik workshop at Design Orchard with a friend, Nyana Iko. So we'll be doing batik on organic cotton with natural dyes. And also our friend Nia and Agus Ismoyo will be having their first virtual workshop, and they'll be having a Q&A and introduction webinar on the 16th and 17th of April. I think Nia is online, right?
I saw her there.
Yeah, Nia, would you like to unmute and give a little introduction to the session?
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for an inspiring afternoon looking at these beautiful textiles. They're very moving, and for all the concern and work to think about how to keep them going. Such an important mission. Thank you, Tony, also for mentioning our virtual workshops. This is part of our new scheme to keep the education program going in Babaran Gunung Culture House. The series of workshops will include a creativity workshop, a batik workshop, and inside batik workshop. And predominantly it will be Ismoyo and his older brother, Agung Harjuno, who will be sharing more about the intangible aspect of batik. So even though we're going to be doing a creativity workshop, it's using the creative process, the intangible aspect of batik, which we have discovered in 36 years of our batik practice, but also Ismoyo's family, our culture bearers of this tradition, this creative process tradition. So be looking at the intangible aspect more than the technique, but also discussing technique. And for the batik workshop, for those of you in Singapore, an art gallery has kindly offered their support to prepare batik kits, so you could get started with that exploration. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Nia. Yep, so if anyone are interested, you can either contact bobaransegaragunung@gmail.com, or you can email me at tony@anartgallery.com. Of course, follow us on our socials at Anart Gallery on Facebook and Instagram. And if you have not already, do visit our website, anartgallery.com, for our articles and subscribe to our newsletter. So once again, thank you, everybody. Have a great day.